If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Black Heritage Day app. Download today on Google Play or the Apple App Store.
Sarah Lewis Vaughn was born on this day.
Hi, this is Jeremiah. John H. Johnson was born.
But today, let us not forget our debt to Toussaint Louverture.
Enola McMillan was born on this day in 1904.
Marshall Major Taylor was born in Indianapolis, Indiana on November.
Occurred on this day, December 20th, 1860.
Work that we're doing here is not going to stop when it comes to these type of discussions. It's going to be for us and by us here on this platform when the media is telling us to look the other way. Your support is what helps us move forward. Join patreon.com/like it or not. Help us grow.
Like It or Not starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth
and not care who doesn't like it. Hey, the whole crew, the whole family is here.
We're all here this morning. I love
Becca.
Becca, where you headed? Where you headed, Queen?
No,
Right.
I need to look good because I felt like if today was my last day.
Ha! Come on, somebody.
Because
Yeah, no,
y'all
G
the
Echo.
earthquake in ATL. Okay.
It was actually in Knoxville, Tennessee.
It was in Knoxville. That was the main point. I guess what they call the epicenter.
The epicenter,
But
yeah.
we felt it, and I am one of the many folks who migrated outside of the city of Atlanta, and I live in it's not Atlanta. That's where I live.
I forgot about that banger. That was a banger.
It was a banger, right? And
It's not Atlanta.
that's where ours lives, and closer to those areas, right?
Mhm.
So everybody who lives in it's not Atlanta, we live near another state. Everybody they live near another state. You can go to a state from a back road, the country stuff. And man, I finished working out. I was in prayer and I said, you know what, God, I'm done with the gospel music right now. Let me go on and put on some Frankie Beverly and Maze. And it was a song that was talking about being grateful, and it was saying thank you in it. It's all the good things by Frankie Beverly and Maze, which is actually Black folks say Frankie Beverly and Maze, and it's Maze and Frankie Beverly. Well, I don't know why we say it like that. Black folks always try to remix something the way we like it. But anywho, I was listening. I was like, that's a good old song. And I was making my eggs over easy, but I don't like my eggs inside easy. So I wanted to let it sit there for a second and cook. I like the way it looks, right? Looks cute, right? So next thing you know, I see my wrist start to do a little something like this. And I'm like, then the pan was shaking a little bit.
Ooh.
Then the fridge, everything in the fridge started to rattle. Then my lights, and then like my sink was going.
Did it really shake that much?
Oh no.
Then my candle, the flame was just going really fast. So I said maybe they're drilling, but then I looked outside and it's raining out here today.
Yeah.
And I said, so I just stared at the window. Then immediately, now this is like for a good 2.5 minutes, maybe even 3. I don't know. My life flashed before my eyes. And I said, Lord, I began to think, I was like, yo, is my apartment about to fall on me? Then I started to think, should I run to the balcony? But I live on the highest floor. Should I run to the balcony or should I run outside, but I'm away from the entryways? So I have to still go down the stairs. And I was like, holy, what do I do on this point? But I just stood right there just looking at everything shake like a crazy because I didn't know what was going on.
Sure.
So when it was over, I never thought, how people run to Twitter to see when I didn't think to do that because I haven't been on Twitter except for when we communicate, but I never go on the timeline.
There's no good information available.
Absolutely. I don't want my brain to be, I'm already trying to figure out my life.
Save your energy.
So then I just sat there because there was no information available, not even on when I asked, our AI devices or when I went to Google at that time, nothing. So I just sat there on my floor trying to figure out do I leave? Do I stay? I didn't know anything. Finally, somebody said, did y'all feel that on Threads? And I said, oh, it wasn't just me. Then information started to come about at that time. I seen somebody post a breaking news where there was for the epicenter in Tennessee, Knoxville, like you said, Bubba, and people who are, in Georgia, surrounding areas, where you can do a hop, skip, and a jump over there to Tennessee. We felt it. And I was like, Lord, if it's the last days, let me be in that number. The way that I switched, I said, listen, Frankie, Beverly, and Maze, I love you too much. But let me go on ahead. I said,
you went back to some gospel.
I said, can you play Todd Delaney radio right now for me? Because I just need to be in the spirit real quick. I just need to thank God for life. I need to thank him. I don't know yesterday for this, but I just want to thank him for today. Because I was like, these apartments are made literally slap them up in 2 seconds and up high. Everything began to rattle in this home. My dishes that are Tupperware, all that stuff, it was rattling. And even though it was for a short amount of time, I can't imagine the people who in Haiti who went through that in 2010, that earthquake where the earth just really crumbled under their feet. The earthquakes that create tsunamis and all that stuff. I'm like, for that quick second, I was like, Lord, if something happened to me, I began to then text people who I had issues with.
You started reconciling. Wait.
You started.
You started reconciling.
I started sending. I said, Lord, again, I want to be in that number. Can I just? I want to.
I am not going to hell today. Hell
I said, no, y'all not. The devil can't have me.
Say, hey, I know we ain't talked in a minute, but hey,
right. Exactly.
I miss you and
there
I love
was
you,
a grudge in my heart, but not anymore. Release me. Because I will be in that number. Like, that's where I was. And then I was like, you know what? I was gonna throw on a t-shirt. I was just like, man, I'm just in shock right now. But I said, no, we gonna be sharp. We're gonna continue to be sharp.
Oh man,
sharp.
I was when I saw it, I was like, because it's real religious folks. We know the Bible, and it says, be earthquakes in diverse places. And I was like, an earthquake in Atlanta, like that's crazy. But turns out it's not really that crazy. It happens from time to time. So I was like,
but why did I feel it? Why couldn't somebody? It's always me. I always say this. I'll be like, with life situations, I'm like, they be like, yeah, they ain't get me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, boom, they got me. They got me. They everything they got me. But I'm like, you know what, Lord, I just thank you for another day. And I really, for real though, I did text people that I had grievances with on yesterday, and I said, life is too short. The dramatics, because that's what I am. But for real though, like I was like, nah, you know what? Life is absolutely too short. Lord, thank you for just keeping us safe. Even though I know for some people, they're like, it wasn't even all of that. My life, literally, I just did not know what was going on. And when you don't know what's going on, you're on the highest floor. You don't know. You don't know. You just don't know.
I whether it's regular occurring or not, but especially if you never went through one, because was that the first earthquake you've ever been through?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd be shook. I'd be double, triple shook.
Yeah. So I was telling back because she texts me like, "Did you feel that?" I'm like, "No, but I heard about it because I'm further south, so I didn't feel anything." Granted, I was still laying in my bed, so I didn't feel anything at all. But then I started receiving all the text messages from everybody. I'm like, "Wait, there was a whole earthquake this morning?
Absolutely.
What in the hell?" And then I'm like, okay, I know Becca is a little bit closer that way. I'm like, Jesus, girl, I would have, I don't know what I would have did. That would have scared the crap out of me.
James, you didn't feel it where you were then, James?
No, I'm like I said, I'm south of Atlanta, so I didn't feel anything this way. Yeah.
And a lot of people I'm like, dang, all of Atlanta woke up early today, because today's the day people like to sleep in a little longer.
Yeah.
And it's raining. It's one of those days where it's like, okay, we're gonna sit in, do a little movie, but this is a day to be grateful.
Yes.
Grateful. Great. Okay.
Rebecca had a Jesus moment. Rebecca, the funniest thing you said though was that you started texting people and then reconciling. I apologize.
I will not be in that number. I be like, and for the grudge that you held, not me, Lord. I said, release me. I said, you are released. I'm released. I forgive you. We have moved on.
Why you sound like an evangelist?
Okay.
That is no longer in my soul or my heart.
Make the devil take it back. You sound
okay. I said no.
People get so. Hey, listen, they just people. Me too. Like we. I don't care. Okay, how close I am with Jesus, but something crazy go down, I get even closer. Like Lord.
Hello.
On the planes, even before this whole situation with planes, I posted this thing because it was so relatable. Where you be on the plane listening. I'll be listening to some hood, right? I remember I was listening to this one song, and it was like it's by Ruby Rose from 2020. It is he and his feelings. He called me to tell me it's over again. He's sending money again. That's me. Like whatever you could. And then the plane began to rattle. The turbulence began to shake my shoulders. The turbulence in my head go boom on one side of the seat, boom on the next side of the seat. And I went to my playlist so quick. I went to gospel immediately.
From the trap house
went to gospel.
To the trap house to the church.
The way I switched so quick, and I said, "It will not." Oh no! See, I was in that moment. I was already like, "Ha ha!" There he go. He mad. He crying. He blocked. And the Lord said, "Not."
And then she switched. Father, in the name of Jesus.
In the name, look, listen.
Victory is mine. Yeah.
This plane will not go down. This turbulence.
African angels.
Come on, Paula, white supremacists. Come on, Paula.
We began to call on the African angels immediately. Anywho, y'all. Love y'all. Meaning, I hope y'all got a kiki out of that. But no, seriously, life comes at you fast. Life comes at you fast. You got to put on a little makeup when you made it through the pearly. Listen, okay. I ain't. They not.
You don't look like what you went through.
I don't like what I went through. Okay, shaking. Okay, but not broken. I thought you were
about to say shaking, not stirred. I'm mixing up my genres.
Nah, I ain't that sharp. All right, but anywho, here we are. Grateful. Okay. So much in the news. We have to. We would be remiss if we didn't cover all the things in the news. Ben, I know you're going straight to ICE. I don't know which story because there were two prominent stories that have to do with ICE. ICE out in, American ICE. I ain't talking about the one you eat. I'm talking about immigration enforcement. I know what you guys probably seen. I don't know where you're going to go with this one, Ben, but the young 16-year-old girl, I don't know if we have that video. I can go grab that for you. But I know that you're going to go to the mayor of
the mayor of Mayor Raz Baraka of Newark, Newark, New Jersey, and he was arrested last night for not so much protesting, because it really wasn't a protest. They were trying to hold this ICE facility accountable. They were trying to go and inspect it, trying to see the conditions of the people in the facility. And actually, let me just put this on the screen because we have a video of it, of him speaking on the matter, because it really, really kind of just shows you where we are in this country. Let's take a look.
And then once again, but let's be clear before we start, though. Like you said, Ben, they were going out there peaceful in some form of protest, peaceful protest with his congressional, teammates. And they were out there with them. They were the ones that were doing it first. And of course, as a mayor, not a lot of mayors do this. He stepped out there and showed up with them. And of course, he was singled out. And what we've been seeing ICE do is singling out judges, just people in places of prominence that seem to be going against anything that Donald Trump has put in place and enforced ICE to do. So this was definitely a premeditated, to me, arrest. So
absolutely, and he's speaking on the whole matter, but he's also speaking about Elena Haba, who is one of Donald Trump's, or formerly one of Donald Trump's attorneys. So it covers the whole gambit. Take a listen in, everybody.
Okay.
Who, just for people who may not be familiar, she's President Trump's former attorney. She is now the interim U.S. attorney in New Jersey, in your state. The way she puts what happened today is she is accusing you of ignoring multiple warnings from Homeland Security investigations to remove yourself, and says that you chose to, quote, disregard the law. Is that true? Had there been warnings? What had happened?
Well, absolutely not. I mean, we could. The reality is, Alina Habba wasn't there. The U.S. attorney wasn't there. She doesn't know what happened. Clearly, That is not the context of what happened. I was there for over an hour in that space, and nobody ever told me to move. I was in there for over an hour. Not a single person, not an officer from ICE, not any of the security guards. Nobody told me to leave that place. Somebody from Homeland Security came in the end and began to escalate the situation, and we wound up being where we are today. And that's frankly the extent of it. I didn't go there to break any laws. I didn't break any laws. I was there as the mayor of the city, exercising my right and duty as an elected official, supporting our Congress people, preparing for a press conference that was supposed to happen there. I did not enter that place unlawfully. I did not break any laws. And so all of that is incorrect. So she was not there. So she should get some better information.
First of all, I mean, and Rebecca, you could take it from there, but Elena Haba is the most unqualified attorney in the country. She's the one that was trying to help Donald Trump when he was being tried and improperly filled out the paperwork, messing up her own client. But then that didn't stop him from promoting her up. Like, she failed up into becoming a U.S. attorney. So she's like one of the least qualified people in the country. But that's besides the point. The point is that how he said it, ICE agents, or rather someone from Homeland Security came and escalated, made that entire confrontation what we saw. And this was after they had already been out there for an entire hour. But again, this is part and parcel of what MAGA is doing right now, trying to scare people. And I absolutely love that this mayor nor any of the Congress people who were with them were scared one bit.
You know, what's interesting too is like we're seeing the police, all law enforcement, which was already, and I said this yesterday, which is already messed up in their system, but we're seeing them work with ICE and answer to ICE and almost kind of like give them the last infinity ring to form this major, massive law enforcement,
beast.
Just being right.
Yes.
And to attack people. And this comes on fresh off the heels of, we'll get to the story, but fresh off the heels of us witnessing earlier that day a 16-year-old girl in Boston being slammed to the floor by ICE. And just later on, while this mayor, Mayor Baraka, goes with his constituents and listens to them and stands up and asks to see the conditions of this place, because just a month ago, it's a video I'm going to drop later as well. Just a month ago, we heard about the Haitian woman who was, I would say, murdered, but who died in the hands of ICE. And she was complaining about breathing issues, heart issues. They, I think, offered her Tylenol, told her to lay back down. She said it's not working.
Wow.
They let her stay there. And their answer at that moment in the facility was, we have 24-hour health that they're accessible to, healthcare that they're accessible to. And that is definitely a lie, because that's a one-off. I mean, excuse me, that isn't a one-off, this story, but they wanted to make it seem as though they began to put out all these different things, this different narrative immediately. And it was coming from ICE. And whatever ICE says, we'll watch Homeland Security spew out as well. We'll watch law enforcement, spew out in their press as well when they're asked these questions. So to see the mayor be arrested, of course, it's signaling that if you mess with anything that is not even actual law right now, but things that we put in place from an executive order or a word of mouth or a tweet or, a threat. If you go beyond that, we will make sure we put you as front page news and not to mess with us. And whoever else tries it, you won't want to try it this time, because we will have this on your record, as a stain, or however, for people who are in office, to let them know you are not above Donald Trump and his antics. You are not above ICE. And so seeing this really bothered me, but seeing Mayor Baraka still stand up while he was getting arrested, after getting arrested, is leadership that we are not seeing too much of. Not saying that we don't have this, but seeing this as a moment where people need to understand this is what it looks like. We would have never knew that he was out there, because he didn't ask for cameras and all them other people to be out there while he was checking for ICE. They came out there after the arrest. They knew, it's like it was premeditated. Let's go ahead and make sure cameras are here, make sure these things are here, make sure everything is in place. So we send this out to let y'all know we are not playing. And I also want to even add to it, you shake the table if I'm wrong. This was anti-Black. It's anti-immigrant, it's anti-Black. Let's go ahead and make sure that we get the leaders that are the ones, especially the ones in office. We will make sure that they are the poster boy. If you look at anything that Donald Trump has done, we don't see much people who represent the left or as a progressive white that is the poster child for any of the things that, even though they're doing the work, they're not the poster child. As soon as we got a Black person at the forefront of any of this stuff, and especially if they are a person that is seated, they will make sure they make that person the poster child for what it looks like if you go against this current administration.
And right now, they're even going one step further, right? They're and we could talk about this in a minute, but they are now accusing and going after Letitia James from New York, and they're accusing her of mortgage fraud. And then that was yesterday. Just today, they announced that they're going after Jumaine Williams. I can never pronounce my brother's name, even though he's been on our show, Jumaine Williams, for mortgage fraud, right? So they are finding every way possible that they could, one, go after somebody, arrest them, and try to get them convicted and put in jail, and also to intimidate people. That's what this really is. So at the end of the day, the number one thing I think we got to take from this is to not let them intimidate us at all. The more they lean in, the more we got to lean in. The more and this is why, all through the night, I was tweeting in reply to this. Good on the mayor. Good on every single one of them who got arrested. I mean, we need to celebrate them, because we need to have people with that kind of courage who are going to put themselves on the line, because otherwise, if we don't step up in this minute, then people will disappear one at a time quietly. Make this as loud as we possibly can. Make them have to show their fascist face, which is what I think this video shows.
Absolutely. And also it points out we continue to push. We have leadership who is continuing to push, even though it sucks, because one of the earliest examples that we had of that this year under this administration was our Congressman Al Green, in that moment. So to see people who are willing to get that stain on their leadership record, to be the one to call out what is wrong, even if it's them just calling it out while their peers just watch, whether they had a plan or not. But sometimes you just got to jump all in, because I ain't going to sit here and hear misinformation and blasphemy and attacks on marginalized groups. Okay. I won't sit here while they take away healthcare and while they play in our face, putting out things that are not true about what they're really actually doing to cover it up. We're seeing that time and time again. And sometimes we can't wait for the plan to be executed. We have to go in right now. And that's what we've seen with, Congressman Al Green and Mayor Baraka. And I love that. I think that we are going to start seeing more of that. People have been doing that. But these are the moments, to me, especially because immigration, as loud as it is, it's one of the things that a lot of people who are in the political spaces are afraid to really touch. But yesterday was one of the days that I've seen so many people begin to center conversations around this. Now, if you can't center conversations because you can't relate, because you have no immigrant person in your family, you can actually identify that the atmosphere in immigration holding camps, what I want to call them, they're not good. They're not great, right? They are people dying in there. The conditions of that environment is just like you're incarcerating these folks, you're detaining these people, leaving them there. The woman that died a month ago or a few weeks back, the Haitian woman that died, she was there since February. And we're seeing you're detaining these people, you're putting them in these conditions, and you don't have, and I'm pretty sure, because my mother, here's a personal story. My mother was detained long ago. She was pregnant. And this is when she had first come here. She was already married. They detained her while she was pregnant.
Wow.
My mom recalls back in the 90s, the environment that she was in. She's grateful because she was cute, but she's grateful because one of the ICE officers thought she was cute, knew she was pregnant. They weren't feeding her. They weren't giving her what she needed. There was no actual cells, or they were all together behind bars, as she can remember. Behind bars out in Florida. Because we didn't know what it looked like back then. We didn't have social media. They didn't let us in. None of those type of things. And my mother was pregnant and she was detained for months. Wow. My dad tried to.
Wow.
I probably wouldn't be here because my dad tried to plan a getaway. Try to tell her to go out the side door. All kinds of things. But I think about that in that time. And when she recalls those moments, and she's grateful that she had gotten somebody to at least help feed her, give her water. There was no clothing or showers. My mama had to go through that just for her to be here. And when they released her, there was no real issues with her paperwork. So I wonder how they're doing it now, what they were doing when we weren't looking at them. ICE has been empowered like nobody's business, to a way where they were lower level folks. They were like mall cops, although they were very aggressive with the people that they were detaining. Okay. And it's always been that way. But nobody really, we didn't see them as much as we see now. Now they're everywhere. They're at the grocery stores. They're in the car. They're in disguise. They're going to the baby schools, asking to talk with the children. They're going to workplaces to detain people.
Right.
They are now in partnership because of law that Donald Trump put in his first term with law enforcement. Law enforcement respects what ICE is saying. Okay? And they're working together. So now again, they've created this huge group that is a gang. And I say we need to watch it. Because beware, I made the video last month about, hey, if they can attack Black immigrants, the Hispanic immigrants, and we've heard of white immigrants that are not even immigrants, that are probably far removed 5 generations, and they're telling them to self-deport. They're taking people who were born here, questioning them.
Right.
You too, my white brother and sister.
That's right. That's the whole point.
You and whatever rights you got.
That's the whole point of that poem, right? First they came for this communist, and I said nothing because I wasn't a communist. Then they came, etc. It goes down the line, right? They come for the immigrants first because it's so easy for, and I'm going to say regular in quotations, right? But when I say regular, I mean people who think that they blend in America, right? It's easy for us to turn a blind eye because we're not immigrants. But what ends up happening is right now they're talking about fundamentally changing our judicial system so that they can deport immigrants, deport Americans for that matter, right? We're really literally talking about deporting Americans without any due process. And it always begins with the most marginalized community. It always begins with the community that people are going to ignore. And because it's so easy to get people to hate immigrants. That's the easiest group for someone to vilify. And so here we are. And this is Beck, I know you're switching out that, but we got the video now of what happened in Worcester, Massachusetts, which is not too far from far enough from Boston. But these are the local police carrying out actions of ICE and doing it by, and again, that was switched over.
Okay, so while my camera's off, yes, that's absolutely right. In this video, you're going to see a mother is clinging to her children. Her sister, Ava, is the 16-year-old teenager's name, holding her 1-year-old sister, trying to form basically a body block against ICE, grabbing her mother. Allegedly, I think the day before or something like that, her father was detained, and they came back while they were getting into a vehicle to detain her mother. The child holding on to her little sister was then the 16-year-old girl, who's a child, was holding on to her 1-year-old sister, was slammed to the ground. Neighbors tried to stop. They chanted. They told them, tried to protect them. They took the little girl, slammed her on the ground. The little girl, 16-year-old girl, was then in charge with endangerment of a child, which is her 1-year-old sister.
What?
And yeah, absolutely. So you'll see this in the video. They charged her with, trying to evade the cops and those type of things. So that little girl that you're seeing right now, cops put their weight on the 16-year-old girl.
Bums.
On the ground. Bums. So take a look while I change out my camera. Be right back.
Absolute bums. Here we go. Let's listen.
Stop! Stop, ma'am! Stop! 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 Stop right there! Your arms. Your arms. I got her arms.
What?
Yeah.
Why does it take that much? That was excessive as hell, bro.
Yeah.
Why does it take that many effing cops
Might want to listen
to arrest one or two people? Bro, only thing you need is 2 or 3 cops, man. You had the whole goddamn squad out there. It's absolutely disgusting.
And you know what? This is the thing that gets me about this. Is that these cats get and I'm not cats, but I can't say what I want to say. But these
Right.
officers, they are championed as, oh, they're so heroic, they're so brave. My dude, you just body slammed a 16-year-old girl to the ground. You're a coward. You're not just a fascist, but you're a coward. Because at any and never mind the whole blatant fascism of it, right? The entirety of all of these cops going after this one individual, right? That she's standing up for. They sent the entire department in conjunction with ICE. And this is what people really need to realize. This is only scaling up. They're deputizing all of your local law enforcement, your local police departments, in addition to your local sheriff's departments. They're even deputizing some random Joe Schmoes off the street who have guns, and they're giving them the authority to go around chasing down immigrants. People need to understand that the very next group are going to be people who disagree politically with MAGA. And so if we say nothing and we don't stand up for the immigrants right now, then we have just empowered them to come after us. And we're not talking about next year. We're talking about like by midsummer, they will be doing this to people who post something that Donald Trump doesn't like.
Absolutely. And you can see in this video here that David's going to play. In this one, the neighbors, they chanted, and then again, they demanded to see a warrant. They tried to create a human ring, as you know, to see what was happening. And of course, I don't know if people know now, ICE doesn't really need, under this administration, a warrant to detain, at this point. So when the police came, I think they arrested one extra person outside of the family group. And this is what we know. The officers or law enforcement had said that it was reported that there are people out there that were being quote unquote unruly, with several individuals allegedly putting their hands on federal agents in an attempt to stop the vehicle from leaving. So let's take a look. And the trigger warning for those who are watching.
They do not have a warrant. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for our sins.
Here's the office. This is when they start to yank. Wall.
They didn't even have a warrant.
Nope. And this is what the people thought that they could protect her. They thought that they could. Your whiteness doesn't even work against the group.
Oh no. We learned that during George Floyd. They will smash white folks' heads.
Yep. And it just brings tears to my eyes. It's So sad. Look, a whole cameraman. Are you guys looking? A whole cameraman. Because this was not something that they made sure news crew, all them. This was not just by happenstance.
Right. Just like in New Jersey or Newark.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm glad that we have the bystanders there, but they need to make examples. They're making examples with these immigrant groups. They don't care if you're with your children. This is giving huge dictatorship. This is giving huge little, but this is giving dictatorship. This is giving, like, we have no rights. It doesn't matter what is written in the constitutions. It doesn't matter what is already law. It does not matter what worked, even though it probably a marginalized group was hurt by that. What was normal is no longer going to be normal. And that's not only going to be with people who already experienced these type of things. It's going to be the ones that already experienced that. They're going to start exacerbating, right? That's the word, Ben, where they're going to start making this, big and blown up. And again, they didn't care. They wanted this to make the news because it sends a message. If you try it, we slamming you, throwing that baby to the side, and then we're going to charge you with doing that act.
That's right. Right.
Because what is a 16-year-old girl to a police officer or to ICE? A 16-year-old girl who, doesn't want to be separated from her mother. Now a family is separated. A baby was put in danger. That baby's life was not cared about. And a 16-year-old girl is about to be a felon
without a warrant. Without a warrant. Like here's the thing. Like high key, that's the treatment is horrible. But we've seen this is what cops do. This is what they do. This is how they treat human beings. This is what they get rewarded over. This is what they get raises over. This is what they make their fame and their fortune off of, is the cruelty and the brutality. They've been doing it since they were formed, right? The substantive difference in this video and in this current time is that they're doing this without warrants. They're just going up and snatching people off the streets. And you know what? No. Let me back myself down from that statement. Body random without a warrant, and some of them are coming up without badges. Some of them are coming up without any police. Like at least these guys had badges on, right? But there's been plenty of examples where they come up with no badges, no identification. Like that's the perfect combination to get people hurt. Right, they're gonna get themselves hurt. Keep doing this. And somebody asked in the chat room, like, how do we stand up? The answer truly is, and please hear me. I'm not trying to play you. Stand up in any way that you can. If you have something going on locally and you can get involved locally, you need to get involved locally and stand up. If all you can do is stand up and make some noise on the internet, my goodness, we need that just as much as anything else. But the biggest thing that we can all do is to not have a single F to give. And don't be afraid of being arrested. Don't be afraid of being detained. Don't be afraid of going to jail. Don't be afraid of any of that, because if we're afraid of that now, it empowers them to do even more of it. Make this transition. If we're going to go into fascism, full authoritarianism, make it as painful as we possibly can for them. Make them pay as big of a price as we possibly can make them pay. And you know what? For me personally, I said this months ago, and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to keep saying it. I want my kids to know that I did everything I could to stop this. And so if that includes me getting arrested, then we all need to be prepared to get arrested.
And I wanted to name the woman who was also arrested alongside the 16-year-old girl who I said was charged with reckless endangerment of a child and resisting arrest. There with other offenses, like I said, of course, we know it's going to be other offenses to make sure that, remember, keyword, Donald Trump wants people to resist, because then it makes you fit the description, even though he ain't even going by that himself, of people who have the offenses that are small, that he can take them and ship them off to Guantanamo Bay or to that El Salvadorian prison, those places. He wants to make sure you match the description. They're going to say, well, this is a 16-year-old girl did nothing. Oh, she reckless endangerment of a child? resisted arrest, attacked federal officers. See how crazy it sounds. But the woman,
but to me that sounds noble, right?
Right?
I think we snatched that narrative from them.
Those white people, it's noble to me. What the mayor Baraka did is noble to me. All of that is noble to me.
Mm-hmm.
But what those people and the people who have these microphones as big as they have, while the Democrats are focusing on, you see how, and this is going to be a slight asterisk. This is going to be a slight asterisk, and I'm going to get back to the story. The other day, there is an event that's going on. I saw a few of our colleagues in the space who were there, which is beautiful, to lift political voices in the space about what's actually happening. And it's called Trending Up, I want to say it is. And they invited everybody, a few people from this space, but everybody but us. And we are the most important people to be sharing what's happening politically. Right. Democrats are making a terrible move because they are going and getting people who are on the internet famous for everything but politics. But because they have 1 million followers and they have no care in the world about marginalized issues, but they're considered progressive, ones that are starting arguments for fun to get views with other content creators. They're at a political event being taught how to push political issues. When there are people like us who are sitting here who live this, breathe this, experience this, have expertise in this, and we're not at the table. And the problem is we have to combat people who are going to look at what ICE just put out and those content creators who are being put on pedestals, main stages, world stages to reiterate this type of news. And the Democrats think that going to content creators, mostly who do not care about political issues, who are not journalists, analysts, or people who have been in this space that actually have a heart for this, to push it, to combat the people, the misinformation, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So, with that being said, the other person that was arrested was 38-year-old Ashley Spring, who was a candidate for the Worcester, Ben, that's your city.
You know, it's actually Worcester. And I don't ask me why it's pronounced like that, but yes, go ahead.
Worcester sauce. I don't know.
When I first moved, I was like, is that Worcester sauce? What is this city called?
It can't even, I was, okay. But Worcester, a candidate for the Worcester School Committee. Right. They then have arrested her as well as a 16-year-old girl. She was arrested for allegedly pushing officers, throwing an unidentified liquid allegedly at them. And she faces charges including assault and battery on a police officer. So trumping up these charges, even though we're watching on video, we're seeing what's happening. As somebody pointed out, it even looks like the 16-year-old girl, when they wanted to so bad put a knee to her neck and said they put a hand to her face and the face of the cement. She was holding the pacifier, looks like. She was holding something for that baby that they ripped from her arms that she wanted to protect while trying to stay in the vicinity of her mother that they were detaining at that time. They even tried to put the narrative out in some of the things that I was reading early on, that the mother tried to get away when they came. They were planning to run.
Look at these losers. I mean, no, really, like, these are high key losers. And you gotta really think about it. Like, just think about what kind of a whack, lame, Lord help me, Holy Ghost, help my tongue, Lord. But these kind of men, they're always going to be these type of men in every country. These are the same type of losers who are doing this in Russia, right? Who do this to Russian citizens, the same type of people who do this in Hungary, right? There's all over the world, you're going to find losers who are more than happy to go out and execute fascism because of what? Because of whatever political ideology they're falling underneath. It doesn't matter, but we are always going to have some losers from your high school graduation who turn out to be nothing but fascist pigs.
Absolutely. They can't wait for a moment to get on ice. Go ahead, Bubba.
I was about to say copy military rejects.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's what they are.
Couldn't make it in the military.
Freaking losers.
And now they can't make it in MMA. They can't make it in anything physical. So they go out there and body slam teenage girls.
And they wanted so bad, Ben, I can tell the police officer had to do that work, and they wanted so bad to put that knee to that baby's neck.
Yes.
So bad.
You can look at the video and tell that they wanted to do a whole lot more, but they're like, oh wait, the cameras is recording.
And they
don't care.
No, they don't care. And they put especially with the invisible cloak that they have covering them, that is the Trump administration. The hand that was pressed to that baby's face while she was holding her siblings, 1-year-old siblings, they snatched that baby from her, by the way. They snatched that baby
without a warrant.
Without a warrant.
They're not only cowards, but they're breaking the law. Go ahead, Rebecca.
And she still the whole time had, all she probably has right now is that pacifier, that soothing thing or whatever she had in her hand. That's probably all she's holding on to right now as she's being detained and charged for every single thing. Although we have video that shows that the police could have just stood there and until they figured out a way to de-escalate, bring them in a certain type of way. But because this authority, when they felt like they were being challenged, when they felt like there was unity and community happening in that moment, when they were told you do not have a warrant, when these things and these truths were coming up to them, they felt, oh, this person is going against my authority. Do they know who I am? I'm ICE. I'm ICE. And we're going to hear more stories, not about ICE facilities killing folks, but about ICE doing the unaliving.
Yep.
Just from this.
Listen, this is exactly who they are. These are again, there is but one step between them doing this on the street publicly and then them killing people publicly, right? There's no big step. And this is why people have to put all of our cards on the table right now in whatever capacity you can. Everybody doesn't have the same capacity to get out there and to participate, to protest. Some people are disabled. Some people don't have the health to do it. Some people aren't even in the physical location to do it right now. You might be in a city where it might not be happening in your city yet, right? But in whatever capacity you can, if we don't stand up right now, they are going to be even more empowered. Every day they get stronger. So every day we got to lean in even harder.
Absolutely. How to lean? We already been bending over backwards, sideways. But I do love that immigration is now on the world stage, because I like that we're seeing community. I love what we're seeing. And I love that it's highlighting what's going on. Not sure what that will absolutely change right now, but we can't focus on wanting to see the change tomorrow.
That's right.
If you have a heart for this thing, you got to be willing. That's why I don't want to hear nobody saying that you bringing your child to a protest and you want a bouncy house. Because those white people out there were willing for police officers to throw them to the side to protect their neighbor with the baby in their hand. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with possibly having a record in your protest? There's peaceful. And look what peaceful led Mayor Baraka.
That's right. And it's funny, Rebecca, you pointed it out several times, right? You're pointing out they wait until the news crew is there. That's what Baraka was talking about. Mayor Baraka, he said, I was there for a whole hour and then they turned up, right? Saw the same thing in Worcester. They had conveniently waited until all the cameras were there. And I think that they believe that that's causing, they want the attention because they think they can intimidate folks with that. But I pray and I believe I'm seeing that it's showing more and more people who are like, I don't care. Come get me next. Right. And I think that's the attitude. Make them come get all of us if they're going to take in, because otherwise, folks, what happens after this is one by one, we just start disappearing quietly and silently. No, make them have to do it all at one time. Let's just, if it's going to happen, let's get it out the way. Let's do it by lunch, by not lunch.
I wish. You hungry, man?
No. I was gonna say, let's do it by the end of the summer. Let's do it by Christmas before the end. Let's get this out of the way so that we don't just go down silently and quietly. Make them pay the highest price that they can possibly pay, but they won't do that. They get away with murder if we are all scared and intimidated.
Producer David wants to play a clip. What clip is it? This is a spouse of someone detained. You saying?
Oh man, yeah.
Okay, so here's a
run that for
spouse
sure.
of somebody who has been detained. Let's take a listen.
2 days ago, ICE came onto my property. They did not have a warrant. They did not show any ID. They tackled my husband, assaulted him. They drug him to the front yard where they placed him under arrest. They then moved him to an unmarked vehicle and drove away. I only know that all of this happened because I have security footage around my house. There are people around this community and around this country who do not have this luxury. There are people who are going missing and we don't know where they are.
Yep.
I don't know where my husband is right now. I haven't heard from him in 2 days.
That's crazy. That is so crazy.
And that story is not a one-off.
It's not.
I was saying, imagine my father in that time in the 90s had to go with information by paper. And thank God at that time he was working with HRS. That's what they called it that back then. I don't know what they call it today. But he was working with them and was working with Haitians who gave him information on where my mother was being held. And today, we're hearing more and more stories of this. Here's this woman who doesn't know where her husband is. It's been 2 days. And again, there are people who voted for Donald Trump who have the same story as this woman. And I don't know who she voted for, so I don't want to say that's what she did. But there are other people who are online saying, I voted for you. And you took my grandmother. And you took my daughter's father. You took my wife. I voted for you. And you separated my family. And I know people right now who are afraid to post anything online because it makes you a target.
Yeah.
So they're essentially going missing in the virtual world or acting like this issue is not an issue for them, although they've received paper in the mail. Or the pricing for them having to stay here, people aren't talking about that either, has gone up. They're interviewing couples separately, asking them particular types of questions, like what did that person eat yesterday? What did this person eat yesterday? I saw a video of a couple who's married who went because they have to be interviewed. And so they went because I think one is from somewhere else, another country. And they were interviewed, and the questions that were being asked were, do you know where he was, what this person was eating yesterday? And then they separated the person and said, do you know where this person was yesterday? And then they're like, no, I don't know. Well, do you know, why wouldn't you know what somebody was eating at 5 p.m. yesterday? Because this person said that they were doing this at 5 p.m. yesterday. And it's like, I didn't know what that person was doing at 5 p.m. yesterday. And they were like, oh, that's suspicious. So are you married for papers? Or are you married? And they're trying every which way to make these people out to be criminals, gang members, their children to be unruly, children who do not listen to authority. All of this is what we're seeing. And once they can plant that, stain you with that, then the right can begin. When these things come out and look crazy, they can say, but just last month, that little girl spit at officers, attacked the officers, put her sister in danger. I mean, they sit here and they spew all these things out. And no matter what happens, I seen a young woman who was on Fox News, I want to say, or one of the channels, and she was about to speak against Kamala Harris for whatever issue. She ended up fainting right there on the spot because God doesn't like that.
Hello? Yeah.
And we'll play that video because at the end, because I think we have a lot of more other substantial stories to cover. But I bring that up to say why I said what I said about that that Democrat initiative to have more content creators who are not centering themselves about in what's going on, don't care about what's going on, but
you got to tell me more about that, because I don't know anything about that, to be honest with you.
Masterclass. It's called Trending Up, and I was like, wow, this would have been a great event for a podcast like us to be a part of, and to be around. I'm going to go right now on the page. It's called Trending Up. Ben, head over there. It's called trendingup.org, and I'm going to read you what they're about for a second. We empower creators to leverage their platforms for social good. Like there's not platforms and creators who are doing that now. Giving them tools and knowledge to drive meaningful impact on the issues they care about. Yet most of the people that were there did not care about those issues, couldn't even intellectualize it, analyze it, tell you how it affects them or their household. Our community connects creators across all genres with educational and advocacy organizations to collaborate, strategize, and amplify the issues that we care about. By building relationships and providing hands-on resources, we're bringing new voices into the issue, education, and advocacy space. The voices are here, though. We're already, we're here. Our creator, and then they have a creator innovation fund. We might need to apply for that. They have a creator innovation fund that connects creators who have innovative ideas with seed funding, mentorship, and resources. I don't think you can mentor people who do not care about an issue that already is. Some of those people were already people who said, I ain't voting. I'm holding my vote. I don't care really what's going on because it's not affecting my household. And they were at that event.
Well, I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. That they could have invited us. Y'all could. I wasn't gonna go. COVID.
I'm just saying.
COVID's still COVID, and I'm looking at these events. I'm like, y'all in each other's faces, just spitting in each other's faces.
It's not even about being in the room. It's about what it's standing for. Right now, we don't need Democrats to become catering to these people who are just because you want their fame to push something they don't care about. We need right now, remember this particular time, it's very important about how we're going to do this work. You can't have somebody that you're having to mentor about why this is an issue be the face of the issue. What the Republicans are doing already, what works for them because they're working with natural racist people. People who don't give a damn about what's happened to the next person because money is being pushed in their face. And here we are over on this. What y'all kikiing about?
No,
it wasn't me.
I'm laughing at YouTube. I've been trying to post this comment, child, for the longest. It is not posting. YouTube don't love me. And let me post a piece of it. But when I'm trying to drop our cash apps and stuff, it just like will not send it.
Girl, look, girl,
you're right, girl.
They ain't
like, damn.
But you know what, Rebecca? Back to that, but to your point, if I could, what is happening right now is really there's two things happening, right? The Democrats are wasting all kinds of energy and time with nothingness at this point, right? They're not organized responding to any of this. They're more busy fighting between the old vanguard and David Hogg and what he's trying to do there. That's where all of their energy is. Meanwhile, we see this country being dismantled piece by piece by piece by piece. They are not equal to the task right now. They're not. And people who, if we're looking to the Democratic Party for leadership in this moment, that's a no. That's going to be a no for me. But then to those creators, like there's a whole subset of creators who, for them, this is nothing more than a business model, right?
Oh,
for them,
absolutely.
It's nothing more than a way for them to get some money and to get a little bit of fame and to establish themselves. And we see this through and through. But what's scary about it is that as you begin to unravel the layers of these different content creators, like Destiny, for example, somebody said in the comment section that he was there.
Destiny?
Destiny is a streamer who is, it kind of reminds me of like a Woodrow Wilson type of liberal, the kind of liberal who likes democracy, the kind of liberal who likes, internationalism and institutions, whatnot, but also supports the KKK. That was Woodrow Wilson, right? The kind of racist that kind of just
use the black out of me.
Yeah, so there's this whole thread of liberals who still don't get the point. The point is the reason why Donald Trump is in power right now is because of the white supremacy that is driving MAGA. The number one fuel, and it doesn't, and see, we say white supremacy, a lot of times people be like, oh, you're just talking about black and white. No, I'm talking about everybody who doesn't fit into the Western Christian straight. You know, I mean, they have that, all of that is in the same category, but what's driving it at the core is anti-blackness. And you got a lot of these Democratic, a lot of these so-called liberal, and some even progressive content creators who play on to this, like Destiny. Yesterday, he came on Twitter talking about something like he, you know, not worried about his white guilt, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So it just shows you that there is as much of a problem in Democratic spaces, one, because they're wasting our time. Democrats should have been lined up fighting against all of these judges who are getting arrested, all of these people who are being called to be impeached, and we don't have a cohesive movement from the Democratic Party to like confront this head on. And you have individuals, right? You have some individuals. You got, you know, AOC. You have Jasmine Crockett. You have Raz Baraka. You have all these individuals who are willing to put themselves on the line. But where's the Democratic Party as an institution? They're too busy trying to maintain power to actually do something for the country.
Absolutely, Ben. I 100% agree with you. Do you understand that right now is a very pivotal time to not have people like Destiny in those spaces? Because what's going to happen is what we've seen the last 4 years in the White House. People just doing hip thrusts to such and such.
Yes.
I don't want to see people dancing to They Not Like Us right now. Love, and we see ever since we did criticize our good sis Jasmine Crockett, we ain't seen her do a little hip thrust since. She been on the floor in the pulpit. She been choir practice. She not playing no game. She said, you know what? You right. And she's back out there, but she never left. But she's like, this will no longer be a part of what we need to do right now, because every minute, every moment, it counts. Every opportunity right now. Who can we align ourselves with that know how to push this out there in a way that they already been doing, but we can elevate them, because that will be able to combat what the right is doing. The right is putting down so much money for people who already have hate in their hearts. No experience, but it works for them. The Democrats cannot afford to do something like that, taking people who do not have a heart for the issue, because they will grift just like Candace Owens before you can blink your eye.
But I honestly think that's on purpose, though. I think they can't afford to actually let voices that actually give a damn to cut through, right? They can't afford to let working class people who actually are like having to choose between their lights being cut off and feeding their kids. People who have to choose between medicine and food, right? They can't let those type of people speak up, because if those type of people speak up, then it becomes a problem for Democrats too, because the Democrats want to get the bag just as much as Republicans. They're corporate Democrats now, right? They are not the voice of the people. They haven't been the voice of the people for probably any of our lifetimes, right? We've just been saddled with two parties that are not the same. I'm not saying that they are the same. If you know, would I have voted for Joe Biden over Donald Trump? Absolutely. I'm glad I didn't have to. I'm glad I was able to vote for Kamala Harris, right? But it is a corporate party that is more interested in maintaining their own power, and they cannot afford to let people from the working class speak up. They definitely cannot afford to let actual black voices, like they'll have their handful of black folks that they'll let speak up, but they're not going to let black people who actually getting it from the bottom, black working class people who are actually fighting for their lives out here. They will never let any of us have the space and the platform necessary, because what we have to say is a direct challenge to their power.
And they can't wait to, let me tell you something. I say this because in places like where you can't have TikTok people going into spaces where they're not going to intellectualize, but also hand you your behind for trying to say the N-word. We have Marc Lamont Hills in this world.
Oh yeah.
And I actually wanted to play that before we get to one of the most important conversations that we're going to have about police and law enforcement here and how they get away with murder.
Literally.
But Yes, before David, before the one that he went on the Joe Budden podcast. Marc Lamont Hill has been our superstar on this show, right? You need to come on, Marc. But he's been the superstar on this show because he's been fighting for his life in these spaces.
For real.
He has been fighting for his life in these spaces. And in this recent one, he was on Piers Morgan with a known racist content creator turned analyst for the right who likes to say the N-word, who says that it should be free speech, right? That she should be able to say these things and all that, all of those types of stupid things that white folks say to make it sound like I should be able to see that. Like, that's free speech. Oh, so Piers Morgan challenged her. And Marc said, stop right there. Stop right there. Okay. Let's take a listen. Please.
How did he say? That man did not say it like that.
No, that's how my mama would say it though. Stop right there. Let's take a listen. Because they wasn't no laughing matter. I almost
right.
Because Marc been having it out with his own people. Now he on the show. And again, let's talk about it. You'll see content creators who were lifted up high to the sky, seated at the right hand of white Jesus, literally on this panel that Marc is having to fight for. And one of those people are Black as well. Let's take a listen, because I said it 3 times.
Blackish. That Negro ain't Black. Amru. Okay, anyway, play. We'll discuss it afterwards.
Christian, I believe everyone's created in God's image. So I don't see anyone as less human, but that doesn't mean I'm not allowed to have a preference and say, I don't like what happens to be coming out of this community or that community. How is that not just a preference?
Made Black people sound lesser humans. You don't want to live around them.
Is this the clip with
relation?
Yeah.
If I have to cross that here,
That's mind
are very real, by the way. Is that my fault or is that their fault for having bad behavior?
That's mind-boggling to me for multiple reasons. I mean, we're talking about bad behavior. You know, we've never lynched you, we've never enslaved you, we've never done any of the deep-seated structural forms of injustice to white people that white people have done to Black people, and yet to claim some kind of moral superiority in the midst of, and again, in the context of a conversation where a white woman is calling a 5-year-old autistic child the N-word, and we're talking about Black people's bad behavior. This is absurd. And the idea of fighting fire with fire, again, is a dishonest argument. Just to take us back to the point here, the people who are supporting Carmelo Anthony's campaign believe that he was wrongfully charged, and they're trying to get him legal defense. The people who are defending this woman are saying, yes, we know you called the 5-year-old autistic Black child the N-word, and we want more of it. We approve of it. We support it. These are not the same thing. And it's bonkers to me that we couldn't all stand and say, hey, it is wrong to call a 5-year-old autistic Black child the N-word.
Okay, so then it escalated after that.
We need escalation, baby.
Yeah.
That
part was good. That part was important, though.
Yeah. You got the escalation, David? David be having the good version, the PG version of a lot of things.
Okay.
Because it turned up, it escalated quite quickly when Piers Morgan asked her. But that's Lily. I know Lily well. The funny thing about Lily is that she has a brown child. She's like a white supremacist who's trying to get in good with the Nazis, and they reject her. And they literally, like, I'm not making this up. The Nick Fuentes Groyper group, they reject her. Literally told her,
go find Lily, baby,
because her nose. They looked at her nose and said, "Oh, you're not white enough," so they rejected her.
What's her last name?
Lily Gaddis, I believe, and Gaddis, if I'm not mistaken. Then it turns out she played this whole trad wife thing, right? You know, this traditional housewife, conservative. Turns out, 1, she's not married, which no big deal. Who cares? 2, she's got a baby out of wedlock. Who cares? A lot of folks do, but that baby is brown. And
this is not the same woman that wanted to say it on the on the YouTube.
She's the one that lost. She's the one that lost her job.
My blackness.
Yes. Yes. So Piers, number one, he's got 2 people on there that should never have been on his show.
Benjamin P. Dixon. Hold on, back it up. Back this truck on up, baby. So you're telling me when we covered her and they denied her, the right denied her, she got exactly what she wanted in a seat. This is what I'm talking about. So Democrats want to this woman, all she has is that it should be okay to say the N-word. And she was boosted up on the internet to say the N-word, and they platformed her. So Democrats want to do the same exact thing with people. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's just a subtle difference. There's politically, when it comes to politics, there's going to be night and day difference between Lily and Destiny. When it comes to black folks, though, they're in the same camp. Listen,
so now she ain't looking. She was
I'm pointing to the screen like you can see me pointing.
Look here, there she go. No, that's the clip. But Benjamin P, you just shocked me.
She's the one. Do you remember she was one that was doing the whole trad wife cooking thing? And then
I remember.
And then she called her boss, right, and then she got fired because her boss was a Jamaican woman, and she said, you said what about black folks? So she lost her job.
I remember we covered that.
Yeah, that's her.
I'm shocked.
But she's even been rejected by the white supremacists that she wants to be around. The Groypers have found out that she has a child by a Mexican man. I think it turns out he might be Mexican and bisexual. Doesn't matter at all. It's just absolutely hilarious. Mexican, bisexual. And then they pointed and said, the Groypers, the Nazis said, Lily, your nose is not Aryan enough. And here she is carrying their water on Piers Morgan. Same thing for Amru. Amru's the guy right next to. He's Myron. I can't remember Myron's last name. But the guy right next to Piers Morgan. He's a Arabic man who passes for black, but is one of the most racist against black people in the country. And he's constantly begging for the Groypers and the Nazis to embrace him. He's like literally they're just juggling their nuts every other day, and they're constantly telling him. I'm sorry, forgive me, Lord. Help me, Jesus. They're constantly telling them, they have told him time and again that when the race war comes, they're going to take him out. But there he is, constantly just saying, "Ooh, can I like Hitler too?"
Then the black man next to him, right. IX drums. That's the fresh and fit one, right?
Yes,
that's the guy.
Yes.
Wow. Do you see what I'm talking about? Switch up a little bit, and the right will give you a coin, baby. Do something strange for a piece of change. Go to the ox and still say you still black, or you are black adjacent, or you got a black baby. Who gives a damn? Give me some money and platform me on Piers Morgan to be challenged by an intellectual person who was actually speaking in a very calm tone, trying to educate, trying to sit with these losers. And then then the tables turn. Let's take a listen.
Trying to figure out how this man got on the show.
And I don't want to live in a country where you can say an inappropriate, rude thing, which, by the way, black people can say things to white people all the time and they never get canceled. There's no backlashing about this. I want to live in a country where people are allowed to say what they want unashamedly, and you will
go
not
on then,
have
say it. Say
you
the
will
M-
not have
go on,
free
go on, say the M word. Go on.
No.
Hang
You don't
on.
don't want you to invite this woman to say a racially harmful term in front of me because I'm the only on here. So if she says it, I'm the victim of it. So please don't invite her for ratings to call me the N-word, because that's basically what it's going to be. There's a bunch of white people up here. You and one Uncle Tom on the left here, and to ask her to say the N-word while I'm here is ridiculous. You would not sit here with a Jewish person and say, please use a Jewish slur in front of this Jewish. It's ridiculous. I understand you don't have any bad intent, Piers. I understand what you're trying to do, but we already know she's racist. I hear you. And I don't want to invite a racial harm to me.
I hear you, and I accept that, and we'll leave it there. Thank you.
Listen, roll it back, and I want you to go back to where Myron Amru, right, who's Muslim, by the way. Unless Amru, have you renounced your Islamic faith on behalf of the Nazis that you
support
fondle all the time, right? But rewind it, because you're going to see him holding up a swastika, and they had to blur it out. This is how much this boy is a cuck for fascism.
David said it was a gun with the N-word on it.
Could have been, but I thought it was a swastika. Still, whatever it was, it's still wrong. Clown.
No. So David said that's what I read, but could be wrong. Everybody could be wrong. Whatever he was holding up that was blurred out, absolutely not.
Foonery and buffoonery.
But go ahead and rewind it, please, because I want you to see how he started to tickle the fancy of the left. Of the right, and push whatever. Here's my thing. These are the platforms where we're watching three women who are probably on the same side of this. I don't know who the random person is at the end, the woman on the right. Who the hell is that lady? The AI person? Because I don't know what they said or what they were going to do.
She looks like AI.
But seriously,
she do.
Um,
we have Marc Lamont here. This is why I do say no to these type of platforms right here, because I end up doing the same thing every single time. There's nobody there in the midst of this particular panel that is like, hell no, on the side with him. He is fighting for his life on his own with a Muslim brown man and two, as somebody said, why they all look like Barbies. Like literally
they all look alike.
These women who also well, I don't know the last one. She didn't say anything for all this time. She didn't say the same word.
She looked like what have I walked into?
Right, here we go. Content creators on platforms where we should be having nuanced conversations with people who actually understand and who can give you colorful looks on what's going on. Clear your behind with some reference and some backups. We got people who can only hold up disrespectful signs. That's it.
Goofy behavior, Myron. Goofy, goofball.
I'm still trying to figure out how this man is even on this platform, bro.
That
you
part.
give a F boy with a microphone and put him on a Piers Morgan show, bro.
That part.
Like, why are y'all giving this man a platform?
For clicks, because they think it's going to generate and drive more clicks, and that's exactly what Marc Lamont Hill was calling out.
Let's take a listen to
it. And I
it
don't
again.
want to live in a country where you can say an inappropriate, rude thing, which, by the way, Black people can say things to white people all the time and they never get canceled. There's no backlashing about this. I want to live in a country where people are allowed to say what they want unashamedly. And you will
go
not
on then,
have
say
to,
it.
I love
that. You will not have
go on,
say
the M word. Go on.
No.
Hang
Don't
on.
invite. No. I don't want you to invite this woman to say a racially harmful term.
Look at the white lady on the end.
I'm the only one here.
What's
So
going
she
on?
says it, I'm the victim of it. So please don't invite her for ratings to call me the N-word. That's basically what it's going to be. There's a bunch of white people up here. You and one Uncle Tom on the left here, and to ask her to say the N-word while I'm here is ridiculous. You would not sit here with a Jewish person and say, please use a Jewish slur in front of this Jewish. It's ridiculous. I understand you don't have any bad intent, Piers. I understand what you're trying to do, but we already know she's racist, and I don't want to invite a racial harm to me.
I hear you, and I accept that, and we'll leave it there.
The white lady on the end was like,
what have I walked into?
Deer in headlights.
I feel like Marc almost said something he was going to get in trouble for when he was about to call Fresh and Fit. I'm gonna write it in the chat, but he was so mad.
A B-A-N.
No. Marc almost was like, "Boy, you just as bad as me. They calling you, and they calling me. And you sitting here, and you wanna like." He really was so. He's like, "No, absolutely not. I'm gonna be the one that gets because this man doesn't care, but I do."
And what's the funniest thing about it is, just a historical correction. I know Marc Lamont Hill knows this. I ain't correcting him. I just want to say for the audience, it wasn't the Uncle Tom. It was Sambo. Sambo was the one that betrayed the people, but not Uncle Tom. But we got that wrong. Anyway, what's hilarious to me about this is, again, and I know I said it, but I just got to say it again. The two biggest Nazis on that screen right now, Lily on the right of Marc Lamont Hill and Myron on the left of Marc Lamont Hill, are people who have been mocked, humiliated, insulted, and dismissed by the very Nazis they want to be a part of. Like that's the greatest loser behavior I've seen in my lifetime. They are in Twitter spaces all the time, clowning Myron to his face, and he's steady there like, "Oh, please accept me." No, you.
Yep.
It's so hard to do this now that I'm a pastor.
Because you want to be that. You want to be exactly what white people think about you. And for you to agree with what's her name, Glenda? I don't know, but the girl that Linda, whatever. For her to be
Galinda.
Black people get to say whatever to white people all the time.
When?
Girl, when?
I want to know
structurally.
When have I ever been able to literally say Cracker Jack? Because I don't say the second word. So when have I ever been able to say that to someone unless they offend me?
Yeah.
When?
Because it's plenty of words that we have been called through the years. It was just somebody in the chat, shout out to Tiger, that removed they butts, that asked, why do Black people get so offended by a word?
And you know what? it's not that we get offended by the word. It's that you should just expect a reaction. I mean, it's just cause and effect. You want to have the space to say what you want to say. Fine, just suffer the repercussions. You don't know, like that's like me going up and calling, just randomly calling, just go randomly call a woman a B word or C word, whatever else. You have no idea how that woman is going to react. Right. So don't get surprised when you get a reaction that you asked for. You wanted that reaction and you got
and we know
it.
There's tone. We know there's tone. We know when a white person says, I told you, my neighbor swears up and down that he was, born Haitian. And one day he kept saying it on the internet. Then he was in a group of people with my brothers and them. My brothers did not defend him. He was like, oh, baby, the way they was about to clear him. And my brothers, they already told him, hey, you need to stop. And he still did it. They were about to rip this white baby a new one. A new one. I wouldn't be in the middle of white folks. White folks think saying white folks is offensive.
Right.
Hey, listen. They actually do. Because I'm like I say black folks all the time. Like when I talk to my folks, I say, hey, what up, black folk? What up, black folk? Right. Whatever.
Because we know. So I was going to get to that. Tone. We know, Ben, you said that if you call the B word to a woman, tone, right? In places where your man be like, yeah, I'm about to go to my B house, it's all right. But when you look at a woman and you like, B word, tone, right? When a white person, so every white person here, including Piers Morgan, so there is no way, shape, or form that out of your white mouth, even my neighbor who was white, there is no way, shape, or form. This is the same person that made a black joke. I know what nigga means to you. I don't care if you drop the ER, don't make it as hard. You try to lighten it up at the end. You said it was just in a song. You do all that. I know what it means to you in your household. I know how it was exposed to you before you heard it in that song. My mom and dad never said cracker to me. They never said that.
Ever. Not one time in my entire life have I even heard my parents cuss, to be honest.
Right.
But that's different. But I never heard them say,
we literally say white people.
Crack, none of that. Ever.
We literally say white people in every single language, in every single way. And it's offensive to white people. So there's nothing that you can tell me. I would have literally popped a blood vessel as well in this moment where you are going to tell. I would have had to find the address, dox her today so I can whoop her behind. Because I'm so, and by that, I wouldn't really go and ask my way to do that. I'm still trying to get money to pay rent. Nobody wants to pay money to go fly on the plane and go do none of that. What I'm saying is, I literally would never sit here and not challenge Piers Morgan, not challenge Fresh, or is that fit? Not sure. Not challenge the AI girl who's sitting there saying nothing real strange on the side.
I wonder what her position was. We don't even know what her position. She was like, I'm not saying nothing.
I'm like, my name Bennett, and I ain't
in it.
And I ain't in it, baby. I don't even know, but she said, "Oh,
it's like, oh, I didn't know I was signing up for this."
What's that? That meme with the black girl in the courtroom? She like,
that's exactly what that is. And it's funny because this is the problem. I would have wished that we had a white, I guess, ally on there that could have been able to be popping the blood vessel up in here too. Because what's the point of this panel if it's like, let's get the black man mad?
Yes.
Let's challenge him. Let's make him feel a way.
And that's the only thing and again, I have no criticism of Marc Lamont here. I'm just saying what I would have done differently. This is not to knock him at all, because you never know how you would do under pressure like that. But I would not give them devils the luxury of seeing me get upset. Not one bit. Not one, because that's the purpose. The purpose of it is to trigger. And you see that she has a little devilish smile. And this is why you ain't got to go run and beat her up, Rebecca, because she can't afford her rent. She ain't getting her baby daddy ain't paying her no child support. She is living in some conditions where she's.
I didn't think she was gonna make it here, Ben.
Yeah, but she ain't get paid. She don't get paid to be on Piers Morgan. She doing that for free. She ain't getting no money to do that. She doing that for some attention, so she can get some clicks.
Pissed. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this. But yes, this just goes to
real quick. Dave, take me down real fast. Yeah.
Oh. But no, this goes to show literally that they not inviting us to these things or these places to have these conversations or to begin to build our communities large enough to combat the right and what they're doing. What's happening here is they're building up the right more just for clicks.
That's right.
We don't need clickable moments. I don't want to see no more of my black brothers and my black sisters arguing on these type of platforms. I'd rather see us arguing around our own table. I love when I get on Olay and Friends and we disagree about something, but everybody has a nuanced point in conversation. I don't care. You will never see her bringing on a fascist or somebody who is literally against immigration. We may have a difference of opinion on that platform, but you never gonna see it ride out to the point where I'm about to lose my mind.
And that's again, thank you for saying that, because here again is the point. You have to understand, and not you, I know you understand, but folks, you have to understand that the intention of these people is to be cruel. That's the bottom line. Yeah. They get joy out of cruelty. The cruelty is the point. It goes back to that Valentine's Day post that I'll never forget, because you bring it up to our remembrance. The White House, where they were making Valentine's posts about how cruel they were to immigrants when they did the ASMR with the sounds of the chains chaining up immigrants. The entire purpose, they are driven off of the cruelty, and that lets you know the caliber of people we're dealing with. And we got to govern ourselves accordingly, right? Yeah. So if we can avoid giving them the joy of us getting upset, we should absolutely do that. But if we have to turn and be cruel in return, listen, there's a thing in game theory. Somebody asked if I dropped my AI stuff. I'm dropping, I'm releasing.
Yeah, they did ask.
But there's this thing in game theory that is so brilliant and so moral and so righteous. It's even, I believe it's ordained by God. It's a game theory model called tit for tat with an option of forgiveness. We need to go tit for tat with these devils and withhold. If we choose to forgive them from time to time, so be it. But until such time, we have the moral right and the logical right to go tit for tat with an option for forgiveness. Look it up in game theory. It actually cracks all this mess, because when you're dealing with people and all they want to do is to be cruel, you can't be kind. You can't be soft. You can't go around saying, oh, we got to be nice. No. Tit for tat. And if we so choose, we might forgive.
Absolutely. Lord, I don't, in these moments, it's not forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do, baby. They out here and y'all still trying to say that. This is why I feel like the Democrats keep trying to say to these people, forgive them for they know not what they do.
Right. Like, we all just get along. Nah.
I'm tired. Ain't nobody, get off of me. Get off of me. I really don't want to hold nobody hand. I want to hold your hand. No, don't touch me. COVID is still real. And honestly, we need to be out here fighting, and not for photo ops, and not for clout, and not so that we can be invited to trending up, right? Even though we should be the people there, they ain't invited us. So what? We're not going to stop doing the work here. We cannot be here trying to be kikiing with the ops. Stop trying to have the contrarian view right now, especially today, especially for the next few years as we have this dictator in office. Y'all cannot try to be contrarian. Y'all cannot try to be the opposite, trying to say, yeah, but I feel like, and I think, and I just, y'all want to see it like this. And it ain't even really all of that. While Piers Morgan is challenging a woman, even though I guess I could see what he was trying to do, but challenging a woman for clicks to say the N-word, while a black man who sits here and fights and has been a journalist and analyst in this political space, a respectable man, with a girl who came up off the internet. No.
Who ain't even white enough for the Nazis she's trying to get support her. Come on, man. That's all I got to remind her of. She hates me so much. I'm like, Lily, did your Mexican baby daddy pay his child support this month?
He didn't want to do her. He didn't want to do her.
Nothing.
But anywho, so we got to do better with that. We have to do better with that. We definitely cannot get out of here without covering, Ben, you can go ahead and take the lead on this one, but without covering how the police are still taking wins after making sure that Black families suffer from losses.
Yeah, no. So this week, Tyree Nichols, the Black man who was killed by 5. Watch this. Here's progress in America, y'all. 5 Black officers. Y'all remember the video? And David, I don't know if you can pull up any footage of it. But 5 Black officers were caught on video beating Tyree Nichols literally to death. Think about how clear the video was for Rodney King. That's how obvious this was. And this week they got off. They got off with murdering this man. And it's, most people are still shocked by it because it's like you literally can see this man is on the ground, not resisting, just really struggling to survive. They were macing him, they were stomping him. I mean, they were curb stomping him, and they found him, found all of them, I believe, not guilty. And I guess that's progress in America. Right, when it's no longer just white cops who can get away with killing Black people, Black cops can
trigger warning for what's being shown on the screen.
So here it is, and you can see, and then they even have the body cam footage. They have the body cam footage where it's so much closer, and you can literally see. Look at them. I mean, they're really just brutalizing that man to death, and they got off. This in the backdrop of President Trump using, I think he secured nearly $500 million worth of free legal help, and he is using that and giving that legal aid, that $500 million in commitment to legal support. He's giving it to police officers who he say are wrongfully accused, and he's talking about giving them full immunity, not just qualified immunity, but full immunity. So in the backdrop of all of this, we have yet another example of what happens when police kill people. And I'm going to say this last thing to our white family, white folk. Y'all, what started and is perfected in the Black community will always spill over into the white community. This is why when you saw during the George Floyd protests, they were curb stomping white folks. They fractured skulls of so many white protesters. This is why you think about one of the most egregious police shootings that I have ever seen on tape, on camera. Daniel Shaver. I will never forget that white man's name. On the ground in a hotel, begging for his life while the sadistic police officer was playing a sick game of Simon Says move, Simon Says stand up, and then he shot and killed that man in person. And so we cannot afford, or I think we're too far gone now. It's not even we're here now. We're here at the point where not only they can get away with killing Black folks as a matter of routine, but now we see what that spirit is doing. It's moving and impacting everybody, especially if you don't agree with MAGA. They're coming for all of us.
Absolutely. And I know there are 3 Black officers, right? People want to point that out, but we have to understand
that's where we said at the beginning.
Yeah. That the system, like you said, Ben, the system that the police work in is all built in white supremacy and whiteness. So they function in that, and they move in that, and that authoritative way and figure, like when they see us and then they come, that's how they're going to treat us. Like, you are not like us, you are not us, and you must respect us. And it's crazy because this system, it shows us that, of course, it is built to protect itself, even if we have video evidence. Back in the day when we saw with Rodney King was one of the first times we've ever seen something on video captured. I was speaking with Olay, and I remember she was saying about one of the murders that happened while we were still mourning Breonna Taylor and protesting about that, and mourning George Floyd. And here Ahmaud Arbery, like all these things that were happening, trying to get some care for what was going on with COVID. There was another thing that happened during that time where a police officer murdered somebody. I think it was on live, stepped over their body and said that's going to be a closed casket. Can't remember the young man's name, but I think about this because there's no care, even though the motto is to serve and protect. There's no care. There's no serving. There's no protecting for the community. It's to immediately act like gangsters and mobsters. And as Donald Trump has already been giving them more money, he's been funding them. Making sure that the time that they're trained is really not that long. Making sure that how they're trained is all dressed up as actual training, but they all have some racist aspects to it. How they view people, right? Particular communities, all of that is embedded into it. And making sure that officers feel like they are in an alliance, that even the Black ones feel like they're in an alliance. Make sure that these 3 Black officers, even though if they were white, this probably would have never gone as far as it did, but make sure that these 3 Black officers get off, because we must protect our own.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry, Beck. I'm sorry. I thought you finished. Go ahead.
No, I'm done because I could go on for days.
These were the state charges, correct? So they're still charged federally. I saw that David posted that, and I saw that as well too. So does this mean that they're still going to be serving time federally?
We still have to wait for those. Hang on.
Okay, it says the 3 men still face the possibility of years in prison after being convicted on federal charges last year. They have avoided the harshest charges leveled against them.
Right. So it's again, this is this. Yes.
That's the Black because they Black.
Watch this transition that we're in right now, right? So yes, they were convicted federally. They just got off on the state level, which we can't overlook that the fact that they got convicted on the federal level is something, but on the state level, that's where it would have been the most impactful. But then number 2,
right?
We only 2 steps away from Donald Trump saying, "Hey, dismiss, pardon them."
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there was a time where we could appeal for justice at the federal level when we were denied it on the state level. But now we're seeing we're not only denied on the state level, but they're completely and totally restructuring the federal level. So we can't appeal to the federal system anymore for justice because it's been completely rewritten.
This is true. And then for the federal level too, they like you were saying, Ben, the way that it's been restructured, we don't know what's going to happen. It's already set up for them to get out of there. I think that the sentencing for that level, the federal level, is going to be on June 16th, 2025. So we can see more on that day. But just to know that a jury recognized and said, yeah, those ain't murderers.
That's the part,
which is crazy.
They looked at the video. That's the part that gets me. They looked at the video and said, "Nah, they didn't do that."
Yeah, that's insane. And I think if I want to remember, because I didn't watch that video on purpose, even playing it, I had to turn my head because I stopped watching these videos because what happened to us, having to cover them, watch them, decode them, all kinds of things, listening on them, all through our first stint at, like it or not, in the office, at the news station. But here, I think that Tyree was calling out for his mother as well.
Trying to think if that was Tyree.
Either way,
you might be right.
Thinking about that, this was probably like the 4th person that I've heard this happen with, these men who are calling out for their mothers. So it takes me back, I know, but to the video I did on the pastor when he said that Black boys aren't being murdered, and specifically saying Black boys, not kids, but Black ones, aren't being murdered because they're Black, but because they're disobedient. And I just think about the parents, but always the mothers, even though the parents are all hurt, the mothers come to mind. These children who are always going to be children to their mothers. Some mothers have gone on to glory and they're calling out for their mom.
Yeah.
While police officers are murdering them.
Yep, that I know for sure that happened with George Floyd. And I couldn't watch I don't think I watched the George Floyd video until maybe a year later. Because when I turned it on, the first 30 seconds of it, I was like, nah, it was a little too triggering to sit there and absorb all that.
Yep.
So I understand that completely, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
this is America.
This is America. Literally, but beware. Please do, for the ones who want to keep up with it, Continue to fight your fight. Beware, because what's happening here, we're seeing ICE, the military, police officers,
sheriffs,
all this sheriffs, this enforcement, the Fed, Supreme Court, they're being funded and lifted up and joining and creating this big law enforcement force, so that we can't do nothing but deal with Gestapo or whatever that's coming to our doors, telling us to leave a certain area because we don't match the description that can stay there, or telling us we can't get this, we can't do that, we can't work here. See the bigger picture. Please see the bigger picture. Because if we don't fight that, we're not going to have a chance for our children, the generations that we want to create, all of those to have actual lives for the things that we are doing for free. Things that we are fighting against. Because whether I was in another country either, if this was the case, I would fight for this particular thing. Whatever it is. So understanding that right now is the time to not try to be a contrarian. Yeah. Because while y'all sat here and did that, we got Donald Trump in office. We literally got 3 officers off on another police brutality where they murdered somebody. Case. And that may be on a state level, but again, we know the reworks of the justice system that Donald Trump is doing, which can benefit these people with a slap on the wrist. And a slap on the wrist is you serving a little bit of time and coming out and kissing your people after kicking and hollering at and murdering somebody's child.
Slamming 16-year-old girls
on the ground,
on the concrete, and putting their full force of their weight on them.
And all they're holding on to as a weapon is a pacifier.
No warrant, no due process, nothing. So I mean, honestly, folks, this is the seed. These are the seeds of actual revolution. And when I say revolution, I mean whatever version revolution you thinking in your head, because we literally do not have a response. We are morally and constitutionally allowed to rebel against this. We do not have to sit back, and the moment you tell yourself that there's nothing I could do about it, they have won, and they are not allowed. We simply are not required to sit back and let them do this to us. And you said something so important, Rebecca, and I know we got to get out of here. But you said, what about our children? Like, what kind of future are we leaving our children? It was time to turn up for our children a long time ago. But if there's ever a time, it's show right now, right? Because, you know, we're talking about leaving our children in a position where they're not going to be able to say anything, where they have to hide, where they have to betray their own moral, and they have to betray themselves to not get taken into custody by this fascist regime. No. If that happens, if that comes, I need to personally either be locked up in somebody's jail because I fought against it, or somebody's grave because I fought against it, because I can't sit here and morally as a father allow this to happen without me doing everything I possibly can.
Absolutely, Ben, and I totally agree with that. So that's what we're going to keep doing, is we're going to do everything that we possibly can in this moment to make sure that you guys know what's going on, and you use your platforms to elevate these issues and keep it out there, not in the perspective of what the right wants it to be or how they're trying to put it, but we're combating that information with what's really going on, just like we did for when the news came out about Palestine. So we have that ability to do that right here in America. So
let's read these super chats before we go, though.
Yeah,
we got more than 5 super chats today.
We got more than 5 because somebody's making it rain on me like I was an African bride. Candace,
right? Candace was dropping them coins.
I said, listen, it's my pre-birthday, right? And help your girl pay rent. And Candace said,
I got you, Queen. I got you.
You ever see on Abbott Family when the little short one, the teacher girl.
You said Abbott Elementary. You said Abbott Family.
Abbott Family.
Oh, okay. Abbott Elementary.
I kind of like an old lady. The show, what's the teacher name?
Quinta.
Quinta Brunson.
Janine.
When Janine was with the broke man, her
yeah,
and then he like she literally was supporting him, and she started throwing money, and he started dancing. That's how I felt, like an African bride once again.
There you go. Omega Star. Morning, lovely peeps. Thank you so much for that $9.99. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Omega, I can't see past that sign.
Shinron Dragon.
Shinron Dragon, yeah.
Big time Bex for the
From
trap house to the church. Come on.
Mwah.
Here you go, Rebecca. You can say that name.
Tig Wick. Thank you so much for your contribution. Just saying hello and thanks. No, thank you. Love you. Mean it. Tiger, they saw a black man and wanted to put him in his place. Straight up, mayor or not, intimidation tactics 101. Honestly, we're a mirror of Nazi Germany. That's what they're going off of.
I'll read this one. This is from Laura Estrada. Shout out, Laura. We love you, okay? Family life has been rough. I lost my dog, Gru, this morning. My dad found her. I'm still stuck in the hospital.
I am sorry to hear
Did
that.
not get to say goodbye. She was my best friend. I'm in deep distress. So much pain.
Laura.
You know,
We're sending
Laura
our love
also lost her mom earlier this
I
year as well,
remember.
too.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Laura, we love you. We're sending love and light, baby. We love you so
Absolutely.
much.
And you know we're praying for you, Laura. We're
Yes,
praying for
Absolutely.
you. Another something from Omega Star. Happy early birthday, Rebecca.
Thank you so much. Mwah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Struth.
Hey, last week we
Wait,
voted.
wait, hold on, Miss Struth.
Right. I
Where
love
have
you.
Where have you been?
It is good to see you. Go to read it, Rebecca.
All right, Miss Struth, we ain't seen you, a stranger. Don't be a stranger coming up in the family's household. Last week we voted, and Trump impacted the vote. And it was, oh, wow. And if you guys don't know, Struth is out there in Australia.
Yes.
Said last week we voted and Trump impacted the vote. And it was a clear victory for the Labor, left-wing liberal. We see you, America.
That was some of the best news, like globally, where the way people see Trump acting, they are reacting on the global stage saying, hell no, not in this country.
Yeah, we don't want that over here.
Charlie, thank you so much. Said hit that for the $5. Said hit that like button and share, and please do if you can donate if you can hashtag or $ Becca's Voice on Cash App. Y'all do that if you can. Send up that Cash
Unemployed.
App.
Look, ain't got unemployment. Ain't got it. Listen, unemployed. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I appreciate every single thing. Thank you.
Omega Shinron Dragon said Destiny has a revenge porn case. Why invite him? That's an interesting thing. Like there are actual charges and allegations against him, but still he's promoted in Democratic spaces. And I honestly thought we Me Too'd our way out of supporting people like that a long time ago. I mean, if that's the case, y'all could bring back Al Franken, you know. But anyway, I digress.
They always have, you know what's so crazy? A lot of these people that you're naming, and we can leave it there and move on to the next chat, but they all have backgrounds or stuff on the internet, and they're still being uplifted with these types of cases.
Yes,
in like that they're carrying.
So it's not just MAGA. Omega Shinron Dragon said Jasmine Crocker takes AIPAC money, not her either. The last I checked, AIPAC Tracker said that she does not take any AIPAC money, but if she does, I definitely want to know that. You know, I ain't got no listen. My loyalty to black folks, you taking money from AIPAC, it does not exist. You don't exist to us. So, but I did see on the AIPAC tracker that they said that she does not take any money, even though she did vote for a weapons package to Israel. So come on, Jasmine. Don't let us down here, Queen. CXL, thank you for that $1.99 super chat. Happy birthday, Rebecca. Hope you have a great one.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Laura, go ahead.
Laura Estrada, my nurses have been so wonderful, all immigrants. I'm pretty sure they are, Laura. I stand with these pillars who are a part of this country, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. Please do. If y'all have immigrant people who work around you in any capacity, because they also could be your doctor, because mine is an immigrant, please show them love in this time, because I'm pretty sure that they're being affected in some way, shape, or form with everything that's going on.
Yep. There it is on the screen. AIPAC Tracker said Jasmine Crocker doesn't take any money from the Israel lobby, but she still votes to enable genocide in Palestine and supports censorship bills attempting to criminalize criticism of Israel. So though she doesn't take money from them, she, like so many other Democrats, are still voting for these packages. And have y'all seen the images that are coming out from the starving children in Gaza? The next 5 are from Candace Owens,
Candace.
Body Double. All of them going to your channel, Rebecca.
I appreciate it, Candace Owens. I really, look. Let me be clear. Candace Owens, Marxist Body Double.
Not the actual
okay,
Candace.
I had to make sure I read that out. But pre-apocalypse birthday money. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Why do white nationalists Barbies all look the same? Because they
every single one of them, y'all, because they rooted in white evilness. That's why they all look the same.
It's true.
And it's because they're trying to fit a trope, right? They really are trying to. They will look. I mean, look, we have people on the progressive side who changed the color of their hair, dyed it blonde so that they could blend in with their curled. I'm not gonna call any name, asparagus.
Crazy.
There's the next one. Go ahead, Becky.
Watch me escalate these hands because it's true. Listen, not playing no games. If I called that woman a cream cheese Confederate, why are you playing? Not the triple C, not the CCC, not the CCC. If I called that woman a cream cheese Confederate,
she would call
me racist. It's true. White women so bland. If they were a seasoning, it would be no purpose flour. Candace got me reading all these things.
They about to get us canceled.
Candace got time today, and I love it, Candace.
They gonna clip this part and say, see, I told you black people were racist.
And look, it's that group of black people that swear that they're progressive, that swear that they're liberal.
Look what they said.
And here was what they said as my mic goes off.
Charlie says white people can't even handle a spicy comment leveled at them. Thank you.
What? Y'all gonna make it hard to beat the Chargers.
Y'all was hilarious, man.
Y'all gonna make
it be, but no, it's so funny because it be white people doing that. So
right.
Wait, Charlie's white, ain't she? Ain't they? Anyway, doesn't matter. Here we go. CXL. Thank you for that super sticker for sure. Charlie sent another super sticker for $5. Thank you. God bless you. Appreciate it. Tigwick. I figured out how to pronounce it. Thank you for the 99-cent super sticker. And Candace coming through for another one.
Because I did a goal, and Candace with everyone else had to help me meet that goal. So Candace, I thank you for that super chat bump. I did 10 out of 10 super chats. That's how we made it.
You did. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, Max the dog appreciator, super sticker for $5. We appreciate that. And Tracy Eva said, "Wish I could give more."
That is okay, Tracy. I see you all the time.
Right.
I see you.
Always supporting.
And thank you for moderating. We appreciate you. You've been doing your big one in the chat room. Appreciate you.
All right, man. That's the longest we ever had to read super chats.
And I love that. And we should be able to read longer. If you guys want us to read your comments or anything, make sure you contribute to the super chats so that we can get your stuff out there or read, because I'm in the comments chatting it up with y'all all day and I be wanting to read them, but there'll be so much and I forget that we had this comment and I'm like, oh, I would love to definitely find it again so we can read it. But if y'all ever want to do that, please make sure that you guys help support. We just because of you guys, we were able to pay. They was able to come in my account and take it, but we was able to pay the system that we are using. StreamYard stays paid up. StreamYard is on autopay. StreamYard is one of the only things on autopay right now.
Listen, ain't nothing else gonna stay paid. StreamYard gonna stay paid.
Okay. So StreamYard gonna get their money.
We gonna say what we gotta say.
They worse than Apple.
Yep. And shout out to Nicholas, our sit-in opportunity. Shout out to you for coming on. I hope that we didn't scare you away too much.
Yes.
Because I forgot we
had guests.
I forgot all about it.
We had guests in the chat. Okay.
We have another non-melanated guest in the chat. And we just cut up today. I mean, the worst.
And
real bad.
I hope we didn't
go
scare
ahead
you away.
and forgot all about it. But either way, thank you guys so much. Once again, on next week, I have no plans. I will be here. So, Ben, I'm saying that for my birthday. My birthday's on Thursday, but I'll be here if you want to pop in. Bubba, you too. We chop it up on Wednesday. On Wednesday we stream. Have us a little good time. And
look like we kind of locking in 2 days a week.
It's given 2 days a week because I'm unemployed.
I'm cool with that. Yeah. Yeah, and I needed these days because the DJing, I ain't gonna say it's slowing down, but I'm in that slow, smooth period because graduations and proms are over right now. So it's like,
they're over. I feel like there's so many everywhere I go. They're over.
Yeah, because when I tell you, I DJ 2 proms back to back 2 weeks, and my gosh, the kids are exhausting, but they were fun. Exhausting, but fun.
Do you see what the kids are wearing? Now I sound like an old lady. Do you see what the kids are wearing? They're naked.
They're naked.
Oh, says goodness. The girl that had a split all the way uphill.
See your goddamn side.
Right here when I went to my prom. But everything else was bedazzled. I couldn't, it's crazy. But anywho, I wish we had Shein at that time.
Hello.
Shoot.
Not with these tariffs.
Oh, exactly. Maybe the tariffs is crazy. I'm looking at my neighbors got bags of things and but they won't support Donald Trump. They said, you know what? Even if that means my baby has to go without for me to order something and be able to show them that we could still pay the tariffs, even though it's cool. Because Asian folks are online like, yeah, you see what your people are doing to you. This is what we could do for you. Is what we do. So let's not
that $1,500 Birkin bag was what I was like, wow, that
was crazy. But what I've always known is that there are a lot of people. There's a man who I used to work for in Rock City. His name is Thomas Theron, and they're a group that writes for Beyonce. They have written for Beyonce. They write for like Chris Brown, Rihanna, things of that sort. And I had what is that called? I was working for them for a school points. Intern. Ooh, Lord.
You had a rough time. It's been a rough week.
Okay. But I was interning for them. And they even told me, they like, as rich as we are, everything that we purchase, we know may not be real by name, but I get my stuff from the same people that create this. And I'm like, no, it's not possible. And they were like teaching me, like, no matter what, don't be that person who thinks that white lady over there has something that came from that place. They know the secret too. Yeah. They've been doing that for a long time. Yeah. So and here we are trying to match their steeds, and we're putting ourselves out of a house and a home just to look like we got it. So so we thank you. Oh God, I thank you. All of the information is on the screen right now. Please, if you can, send some love over to our Cash Apps. I know, let me tell you, Bubbles first is Granny Draws.
Yeah, she said don't send nothing there. She said it's overdrawn. So just Venmo, y'all.
Oh, just Venmo. It's gonna be Venmo DJ X3C. DJ X3C on Venmo. And Becca's Voice on Cash App. Benjamin P. Dixon said chill. So send it over to Becca's Voice on Cash App. Send your girl some pay money, help your girl pay rent. I love you guys so much. And I'll see you guys on, what is today? Saturday? On Wednesday. I ain't got nothing to do for my birthday, guys. Nothing. No, I ain't got nothing to do. And it's okay. I'm actually okay. I'm happy. And the joy of my heart because I survived the earththquake is all right. I'll see you guys on
Good night.
I am an earthquake survivor.
Mine came from the little earthquake.
2.0 on a Richter scale.
A little shake, but I survived.
Like a little sneeze.
Where is the transition out of the show? Work that we're doing here is not going to stop when it comes to these type of discussions. It's going to be for us and by us here on this platform when the media is telling us to look the other way. Your support is what helps us move forward. Join patreon.com/like it or not. Help us grow.
Like it or not, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Like It or Not. With Rebecca Azor. Let's start this damn show. Yes, it's time for Like It or Not. With Rebecca Azor. Let's start this damn show. Like it or not.
Rebecca Azor is in the house. You know she got a funny story to tell. Talking politics, culture.